Everyone tells you that to have unforgettable sex, you have to be perfect. You have to master some kind of complicated, secret techniques or look like a supermodel. But that's only half the story, and honestly, it's the most misleading half. After years of working with couples, diving deep into male psychology, I stumbled upon a fundamental truth that changes everything. There's something that, if you don't get it, can make him feel completely disconnected from you emotionally, even in your most intimate moments. And I promise you, it's not what you're thinking. It has nothing to do with your body, your level of experience, or how you perform. It's about something much, much deeper that's happening inside his brain, something most women have no idea about. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I have seen the most incredible, smart, beautiful women completely lose the emotional connection with their partners. Why? Because they didn't understand these 7 neurological keys that can turn a simple, intimate encounter into an experience that becomes unforgettable for life. And when I say unforgettable, I don't just mean he'll think about it fondly. I mean it in a neurobiological sense. I'm talking about encounters that light up the reward systems in the male brain so powerfully that they leave behind what I call lasting dopaminergic traces. Think of it like a neural footprint, a pathway that gets hardwired into his brain, forever connecting your presence, your essence, with the deepest, most authentic pleasure he can feel. Now here's something my experience has taught me, and this is especially critical for you, as a mature woman. We have a superpower that younger women haven't quite developed yet. We have the capacity to create true emotional intimacy, and that is our greatest evolutionary advantage. I get it. I really do. After all the pain, the disappointing relationships, and those awful moments where you felt invisible or taken for granted, it can be hard to believe that you hold this kind of power inside you. The power to forge this incredibly deep connection. But you do. And I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock it. In my clinical work, I started noticing a fascinating pattern. The women who were creating the most mind-blowing, memorable experiences for their partners weren't always the youngest, the most sexually experienced, or the ones with a perfect body. Not at all. They were the ones who had learned how to tap into their deepest, most authentic feminine power. And this is where the real revolution begins. When a mature woman understands these neuropsychological principles and starts living them from a place of genuine authenticity, she doesn't just transform her partner's experience. She reclaims access to her own most powerful, fulfilling sexuality. As the great psychologist Carl Jung pointed out in his work on the collective unconscious, there's an archetypal wisdom in mature femininity that goes way beyond the physical. Jung understood that true magnetic attraction comes from integrating our light and our shadow, from fully, unapologetically embracing our complex, authentic nature. 1. Authentic neuro-emotional affirmation. The first element that completely rewires the male experience is what I call authentic neuro-emotional affirmation. And this is where so many women get it wrong. This isn't about faking it. It's not about acting or just making the right noises at the right time. It's something else entirely. When a man hears real, honest words that come directly from your genuine experience of pleasure, his brain releases a flood of dopamine that forges a powerful emotional bond. I'm not talking about rehearsed moans or saying what you think he wants to hear. I'm talking about sentences that come straight from your heart and your body in that moment. Things like, "You are driving me absolutely wild," "I love what you're doing right now," or "Being with you like this feels so amazing." Do you know what happens in his brain when you say that and you mean it? His nervous system gets a signal that he's not just succeeding on a physical level. He's being seen, recognized, and truly appreciated as a man. This directly activates what's known as the primary male reward system. You, with your life experience and your mature relationships, you already know this deep down. No matter how confident a man seems on the outside, he has a profound, almost primal need to know that he is genuinely bringing you pleasure. This kind of authentic verbal affirmation is like a direct injection of confidence and connection straight into his emotional core. It gives him the certainty that you are happy with him, that he is the one giving you real pleasure. But let me tell you something that completely changed my perspective on this. Understanding the difference between manipulative and authentic affirmation. Manipulative affirmation is driven by fear. It's about trying to please him, trying to play a role you think you're supposed to play. But authentic affirmation? That comes from your own true experience of pleasure. It comes from your ability to be fully present and to actually feel what's happening. I've worked with women who had completely lost their true voice in intimacy. Women who felt they had to put on a performance, to meet expectations, to be perfect just to be desired. And the moment they learned how to connect with their real, unfiltered pleasure and express it, everything changed. I vividly remember one client, a 45-year-old woman, who felt completely cut off from her own sexuality. For years, she had only pretended to feel what she thought her partner wanted. When she finally learned to connect with her real experience and verbalize it, not only did her relationship transform, but she reconnected with a part of herself she thought she had lost forever. Second, spontaneous emotional enthusiasm. This brings me right to the second crucial element, which I call spontaneous emotional enthusiasm. This is something that only mature women can truly give with authenticity, because we've learned to connect with our own pleasure without shame or reservation. Here's something I see time and time again in my practice. Men are biologically wired to know if a woman is truly present or if she's just putting on a show. Their primitive brain, the part that can't be fooled, knows with absolute certainty whether a reaction is real or just a performance. When you laugh, when you play, when you react spontaneously, when you let yourself be completely unfiltered, you are sending deep neurological signals straight to his system that say, "She is really here with me. She is enjoying this. This is real." And it's precisely this authenticity that creates what we call an emotional high-intensity memory. It's a moment that gets burned into his brain. I have seen so many wonderful women lose their inner spark because they were taught they had to play a role, be perfect, and live up to some impossible standard. But the truth is the complete opposite. Your spontaneity, your ability to be fully present and lost in your own pleasure, is the very thing that creates that unbreakable bond. And here's another fascinating piece of the puzzle that neuroscience teaches us. When a woman is genuinely present in her own pleasure, her body releases pheromones and energetic signals that the male brain perceives on a deep, unconscious level. This doesn't just trigger physical arousal in him. It sparks a profound emotional connection. The difference between a woman who is acting and one who is truly present is, from a neurological standpoint, enormous. The first might trigger some short-term physical pleasure, but the second? The second creates lasting neural pathways that make him associate that experience with something unique, special, and absolutely irreplaceable. Your ability to laugh from your belly when something genuinely delights you, to sigh when you feel real pleasure, to move your body the way it wants to move without some mental choreography. That is the magic that goes beyond the physical and touches him on the deepest emotional level. Third, intense eye contact. The third element that makes all the difference might sound simple at first, but it is incredibly powerful on a neurological level. Intense eye contact during intimacy. This is where another common myth among women leads us astray. This isn't about a technique. It's about real, raw, emotional vulnerability. When you hold his gaze in those moments of peak intimacy, you are activating his deepest bonding systems. On a neurological level, his brain releases a surge of oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, creating what we call neural synchronization. His brain literally starts to sync up with yours. But this requires something that only emotional maturity can truly provide: the ability to show yourself vulnerable and without fear. The ability to be fully present without hiding. The courage to look at him without a mask. It's an act of profound emotional bravery that men instinctively recognize as something extraordinary. You, who have gotten to know yourself, who have worked on yourself and healed your wounds, you have the unique ability to offer this kind of authentic presence. And it is this presence that forges a deep neurological connection he will never, ever forget. My clinical experience has shown me that this kind of eye contact isn't just visual. It's energetic. It's emotional. It's a silent conversation between two nervous systems that are recognizing and appreciating each other on a primal level. So many women avoid eye contact during intimacy out of shame, insecurity, or a deep-seated fear of being truly seen. But when a mature woman learns to hold that gaze, to truly allow herself to be seen in her entirety, she creates a level of intimacy that transcends the physical. I've observed that this conscious eye contact can trigger something in men that we call soul recognition. That feeling of truly seeing and being seen at the deepest possible level. This creates a kind of positive emotional dependency, making him associate the experience with something sacred, unique, and irreplaceable. Neuroscience shows us that when two people look into each other's eyes in moments of shared vulnerability, their brain waves literally begin to attune to each other, creating a sense of connection that goes beyond the individual self. The fourth element is a total game changer, and it's especially powerful for us as mature women because we've finally learned what we want and how to ask for it without shame. I call it the woman's emotional initiative. Let me explain something that flips the entire dynamic on its head. Men are conditioned to be the pursuers. They're used to taking the lead, making the first move, and being the one who initiates. But when a mature woman takes the initiative, not from a place of desperation or neediness, but from a place of genuine, authentic desire, she activates something deep within him that I call confirmation of being desired. I'm not talking about being aggressive or acting in a way that feels unnatural to you. I'm talking about the small, powerful gestures that send a clear message. I desire you. I choose you. I am actively here with you. It can be as simple as being the one who leans in for the first kiss, whispering something enticing in his ear, or taking his hand and guiding it where you want it to be. Do you have any idea what happens inside his brain when you do that? His reward system, the one that's tied to the feeling of being chosen, wanted, and appreciated, lights up like a Christmas tree. For a man, it is neurologically intoxicating when a woman approaches him, not because she needs something, but because she truly wants him. Now here's something so many women don't understand. This initiative has to come from your connection with yourself, from your ability to feel and express your own desire. It is not a technique. It is the most authentic expression of your mature, feminine power. But what I see so often is that many mature women have been conditioned to suppress this. Out of fear of rejection, because of wounds from the past, or just because society told us good girls wait to be chosen. We've unlearned how to take the lead. Reclaiming this ability to openly show your desire is the same as reclaiming your most potent feminine energy. I've worked with women who had completely lost this part of themselves. Women who always waited for the man to call, to text, to make the first move in bed. They were so used to being passive that they never even considered voicing their own wants. The moment they rediscovered this ability, the entire dynamic of their relationships shifted. You see, mature feminine initiative is not the same as youthful impulsiveness. It doesn't come from a place of insecurity or a need for validation. It flows from a place of abundance, self-awareness, and conscious choice. And to the male brain, that is utterly irresistible. When a woman in her 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond takes the initiative from this authentic place, she sends a powerful signal. I want to be here, with you. I desire this moment. I value it. And that message triggers a profound neurological response of gratitude and deep emotional connection in him. 5. Conscious emotional presence. The fifth element is perhaps the most profound and transformative of them all, and it's something we can only truly offer when we've walked that inner path of self-knowledge and healing. I want to be completely honest with you. In a world that is jam-packed with superficial contact, casual hookups, and soulless encounters, true emotional presence is nothing short of a revolution. When a mature woman can be genuinely, fully conscious emotional presence during intimacy, she creates an experience that becomes permanently imprinted on his soul. So what does conscious emotional presence even mean? It means slowing down when your heart tells you to. It means holding him close just to feel that connection. It means breathing together, in sync, and letting whatever feelings arise flow through you without censoring them. It means being completely and utterly in your body, in your heart, and in the present moment. Men, even if they can't articulate it, have a deep, soul-level craving for exactly this kind of true emotional presence. Their nervous system can sense, on a primal level, when a woman is really there, when she's not acting, not trying to meet expectations, but is simply, authentically being herself. And that presence activates what I call the deep bonding system. This isn't just about physical attraction or lust anymore. This is soul recognition. It's that profound feeling of being seen, accepted, and valued as a complete human being. Let me explain something that attachment neuroscience has taught us. When two nervous systems connect in this state of true emotional presence, something called neural co-regulation occurs. Their heart rhythms literally begin to synchronize. Their breathing aligns. Their nervous systems actually calm each other down. This is the difference between mechanical, forgettable sex and a truly transformative, intimate encounter. And this ability for deep emotional presence is a direct result of maturity, of self-awareness, of learning to inhabit our own bodies without an ounce of shame. I have seen it again and again in my practice. Mature women who have done the therapeutic work, who have healed their emotional wounds, and who have learned to be present with themselves, possess a unique and powerful ability to offer this conscious emotional presence. It is no accident that many men, after years of superficial relationships, find themselves consciously drawn to mature women. In the presence of a woman who knows herself, accepts herself, and has healed herself, there is something deeply calming, healing, and soul addictive for the male mind. This conscious presence also includes the ability to feel and express gratitude during intimacy. When you can truly feel what a gift the moment is, what a blessing the connection is. That energy is transferred and transforms the entire encounter into something sacred. It also means being present with all the feelings that come up. If you feel a wave of tenderness, you let it show. If you sense a deep connection, you share it. If you're moved by the beauty of the moment, you let your emotions be seen. As Carl Jung taught, maturity is about integrating all the parts of ourselves, including our sexuality and our capacity for emotional intimacy. It's this integration that allows us to embody a presence so powerful and so real. 6. The art of creative emotional attention. The sixth element is where we move from pure presence into something more artful. This is what I call the art of creative emotional attention. And here is a central insight from my practice. Male brains are biologically programmed to respond intensely to well-calibrated anticipation. Now, I am not talking about playing games. This is not about manipulative behavior. This is something far more refined. It is the ability to build emotional and physical tension in a way that deepens desire and neurologically intensifies the climax of the moment when it finally arrives. This can be as subtle as a touch that lingers and then pauses right at the moment he wants more. A look that promises something without giving it away immediately. Words whispered in his ear that build a picture of what's to come. It is the art of mature seduction, where every single gesture has intention and every pause is filled with meaning. Do you know what's happening in his brain while you're doing this? His brain is releasing dopamine, the pleasure chemical, not just during the act itself, but all throughout the phase of anticipation. This process makes him associate your very presence with the feeling of anticipated pleasure. And from this, what we call positive emotional dependence arises. He becomes addicted to the feeling you create. But, and this is the crucial point, this artful tension must come from your deep connection with yourself. It must come from your ability to feel your own sensual rhythm, not from a place of insecurity or a desire to control him. When it flows from your authenticity, it is magnetic. And this is where mature women have such a massive advantage. We know our own rhythms. We know our desires. We know our inner timing. We can create this delicious tension from a place of wisdom, not from a place of fear or nervousness. This ability to play with time, to create conscious pauses, to let desire build slowly and intentionally. That is an art form that only comes with emotional experience. And men recognize it instinctively as something incredibly special. Creative emotional attention also means being able to vary the emotional texture of the moment, allowing for a playful, light-hearted moment to follow one that was full of deep intimacy. This variation in emotional intensity keeps the male brain engaged, stimulated, and deeply connected. I've seen how women who master this art of conscious tension keep their partners profoundly connected, not just in the bedroom, but in every single part of the relationship. It's as if they've learned how to skillfully play the strings of the male soul. It includes the ability to consciously prolong pleasure, not as a manipulation, but from the deep, wise understanding that the things we anticipate with excitement are always experienced more intensely. This creative tension, when brought consciously into the realm of intimacy, can transform the entire experience of connection between two people. And this brings us to the seventh element. In many ways, this is the most powerful and transformative of them all, the one that ties everything else together. This is what truly separates the unforgettable encounters from the forgettable ones. And it's something we can only give when we have done the deep inner work to fully and unconditionally accept ourselves. I call it vulnerable authenticity without a mask. I want you to hear this, and I want it to sink in because it can change your perspective forever. The most unforgettable sex for a man is not the most technically perfect. It's not with the woman who has the most perfect body, and it's certainly not the most acrobatic. The sex that is burned into his memory forever is the one where the woman is completely, unapologetically present in her own realness. No acting, no pretending, no hiding. The moment you stop trying to be perfect and simply allow yourself to be real, when you show your vulnerability, when you give yourself permission to be spontaneous without a filter, you offer him something that is becoming terrifyingly rare in our modern world. Pure, unfiltered authenticity. And here is the great misunderstanding that has been holding so many women back for so long. This authenticity is not a weakness. It is your ultimate strength. It is the strength of a woman who knows herself, accepts herself, and allows herself to be fully seen. Neurologically, this is deeply addictive to the male brain. Do you want to know why? Because when you show up in your realness, you give him permission to drop his mask too. This creates what I call a synchronization of vulnerability. It's a meeting from soul to soul, without any armor, without any roles. I have seen the most extraordinary transformations in women when they finally grasp this. Women who spent decades thinking they had to meet expectations, fit into a mold, and be perfect, only to discover that their vulnerable, messy, authentic realness was their greatest gift all along. Neuropsychological research on attachment has shown us that when two people meet in this state of mutual authenticity, the most profound bonding systems in the brain are activated, systems that go far beyond the purely physical. It creates an emotional, high-intensity memory that is permanent. Your ability to genuinely laugh when something delights you, to sigh with real pleasure, to tremble when you're moved, to say what you truly feel without filtering it through a script of what you should say. That is what creates the indelible connection. And this is something I see so powerfully in mature women. Through life experience, we have learned that perfection is a boring illusion. We know that authenticity is the only thing that truly connects us. We understand that our conscious vulnerability is our emotional superpower. This vulnerable authenticity also means allowing all the feelings that come up during intimacy to just be there. If you feel a surge of tenderness, you express it. If you feel overwhelming gratitude, you share it. If you feel a deep, soul-shaking connection, you allow it to be seen. You stop censoring your real emotional experience. But let me be crystal clear about something important. Authenticity does not mean you abandon your boundaries or lose your self-respect. Not at all. It means being true to yourself within a framework of self-love and mutual respect. It means living your truth from a place of inner strength, not from neediness or fear. It includes the ability to share your true desires, your authentic fantasies, and your emotional needs, not as a demand, but as a loving invitation into your inner world. I have worked with women who hid their true sexual nature for decades, who contorted themselves to be what they thought their partners wanted, who played roles that were suffocating their spirit. And when they finally gave themselves permission to be real, their entire intimate experience was radically transformed. This realness includes showing your imperfections without shame, your scars, your quirks, the marks that life has left on you, everything that makes you uniquely you. When a mature woman can show her body and soul without apology, it creates an experience of total acceptance, and that is profoundly healing for both people. As Carl Jung said, we must integrate our shadow, those parts of ourselves we try to hide. Doing so allows us to show up as a whole person, light and shadow together. And that is what makes a truly transformative connection possible. And here it is. This is the truth that can change your love life forever. When you integrate these 7 elements from a place of your mature authenticity, you don't just create unforgettable experiences for him. You find your way back to your own deepest, most vibrant feminine power. I understand that it can feel terrifying to allow yourself to be this vulnerable, especially if you've been hurt, especially if you have a history of feeling unappreciated, or if you've spent a lifetime thinking you had to pretend to be loved. But I promise you, this is the path. This is the only path to true connection. Because the truth is this: the sex that stays in his memory forever is not technical. It is emotional. It is not perfect. It is real. It is not acted. It is felt. And when a mature woman finally realizes this and allows herself to embody it, she becomes magnetic in a way that goes far beyond the physical. Your emotional maturity, your ability to be truly present, your shameless authenticity, your wisdom to create conscious tension, your power to affirm him with sincerity, your gift of taking initiative from genuine desire, and your courage to hold vulnerable eye contact. These are your tools. These are your superpowers. You do not need to be younger. You do not need a different body. You do not need to learn complicated new techniques. You only need to connect with what is already living inside of you. The power that has been matured by your experiences, deepened by your inner journey, and strengthened by your healing. And when you do that, when you allow yourself to embody this authentic and powerful version of yourself in intimacy, you not only create unforgettable experiences for him, you find your way back home to your own feminine essence, deep, alive, and utterly transformative. I have seen women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s rediscover their seductive power in ways they never thought possible. Women who were led to believe their best years were behind them, only to realize that their most powerful and magnetic years were just beginning. Because true seduction, the kind that truly touches a soul and transforms a connection, doesn't come from youth or a perfect body. It comes from self-knowledge. It comes from emotional presence. It comes from the ability to love without masks, from a wisdom that can only be earned by living, feeling, and healing. Remember, every emotional scar you've healed has given you more compassion. Every wound you've transformed has given you more depth. Every experience you've lived has gifted you the wisdom to truly connect with another human being. In the end, the intimacy that leaves a permanent mark is the kind where two people meet each other in their truest, most vulnerable, most human form. And this ability to truly meet another is the most valuable gift you can possibly give and receive. This is your true advantage as a mature woman. Your power lies in your unique ability to create real emotional intimacy, to offer true presence, to love without fear, and to connect from soul to soul. When you recognize this truth and begin to live it fully, you become a force of love that transforms not just your intimacy, but your entire life. Because when you know who you are and you allow yourself to fully be that person, you radiate a magic that is absolutely irresistible, a magic that depends on nothing but your ability to be completely, authentically, and magnificently yourself.